And when I thought about Barefoot Conversations and what it was supposed to be and what God wanted to do through it, I just was like, I want women who are unafraid to go there and to tell their stories.
This same gentleman that tells me this FaceTimes me a few hours later with his private part in his hand. He's like, yeah, you got hidden figures talent. Like, you're super smart. I know you're young. You're from Nebraska. You came here because you're trying to make it. And like, borderline, if you do X, Y, and Z, I'll give you a VP of marketing position. So age 14, the first show assisted with was, he brought Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay. And I had excitement around it, but like Earth, Wind, and Fire, all right, whatever. So we handed out posters, we did the thing. I sold tickets to my aunts and uncles. Like, I'm like, this is nice. I feel special. During the time before I decided to go, my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, which I had shared. And I wasn't going to go. I was going to stay, here with him to make sure he was good. But he was just like, no, like, you got a life to live. Like, and he would always say this thing, as long as I got my Happy Meal, I'm straight. And I left. But I was exposed to so much within that industry. What once glimmered didn't anymore. So it was nothing to look forward to, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited about this moment. I have been dreaming about this moment for so long.
Yeah.
And when I thought about Barefoot Conversations and what it was supposed to be and what God wanted to do through it, I just was like, I want women who are unafraid to go there and to tell their stories. And when I first met you, this was at the away day.
Yes.
I had heard a lot about you. I had seen some of the stuff you did.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this woman is so impressive. And then when I heard you speak from your heart about all the things, even just a glimpse of, because we just weren't even to go there.
And I could have just went.
I mean, there were moments I'm looking around and people were dabbing their faces. And the way that you just spoke and touched them and went there with all the things from relationship to trauma to loss, I just knew that I needed to have you in this space. So, skipping all the formalities and everything, how are you?
I'm good. Like, there's so many changes, so many amazing changes. I have this thing, like, I always tell myself, like, oh, God is like forever trying to keep me humble.
Won't he do it?
Because it's like always so many great things happening, not necessarily like bad things happening, but challenges that I got to navigate through, to where it's just kind of like masks everything else, and everything else is just like, oh, okay, well, it's just what it is. Like, we steady climbing, but I got to deal with this over here. But for the most part, good. Blessed.
So what's Ciara 2026?
Oh, man.
What's she up to?
Ciara 2026.
Can you believe we're here, though? Let's pause.
No, I can't.
Let's pause for a moment.
Can't.
6. When you were in elementary school, back in the day,
I remember writing 96 on the corner. Like, what?
Okay, so are you old enough to remember how we used to communicate?
Yes.
With the football note paper, rolling it up, flicking it across.
Yes. Hold it in between it. Yeah. What's good?
Yes.
Just me and my cousin were just talking about this.
I'm just going to drop you a few lines.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we're in the right space. Did you ever think that you would be in this season, in this time, in this place now?
You know what's funny? Yes and no.
Okay.
As a kid, I was, oh my God. I was just grandiose about everything. Like I knew what I wanted to do. I knew who I wanted to be, except for the fact I was planning to be a meteorologist or a pharmacist. So
A
yeah,
meteorologist?
yeah, it's crazy.
Could you have predicted this weather though?
No, and I'm glad I didn't become a meteorologist because after finding out you could get struck by lightning, I was like, yeah, completely
you
over
really
it.
could.
So it's like, I'm done. But no, I am not surprised that I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I was that little kid, and I don't know what year this would have been, 98. I remember going to Blockbuster one night with my aunt. And like as you're walking up to check out, they have like all the snacks and like little toys and trinkets. 5th grade to be exact. I remember looking and Scooby-Doo had a Palm Pilot and it came with a stylus. Now you're talking about like 1998.
Pilot.
So that was like, whoa, wait, what? And I was that kid. I had my VTech laptop. I had my Pomp Scooby-Doo. Like, I wasn't booking no appointments, but you couldn't tell me nothing. I had my purse and I was always that girl on the go, like acting like I was on the phone. So like fast forward now, it's like, oh yeah, like you ended up becoming, yeah, it makes total sense. It's crazy though.
I would have loved to see you with your Scooby-Doo Palm Pilot. Just
And my friends used to be like, girl, like
what
I
are
have
you
to check my
doing?
calendar. I'm available now.
And here we are. Here we are. Fast forward to today. God has just done so much amazing things in your life. I'm just like in awe.
Yes.
I remember seeing like the magazine feature that you did for, is it Drayon?
Oh yes, Knob Ties. Yes.
And they robbed him on The Voice.
They did.
I'm just gonna say it. You heard it here. He got robbed.
He's so talented. And that was my first issue.
Yes.
That was my first issue.
Knob Ties. Tell me about that.
Oh wow. So kind of taking it back a little bit. This is always something I wanted to do. Really kind of something I've always done. So my background is working behind the scenes of concerts. I think I shared that with you. So I started that at age 14. And then once I got up in age, before moving to LA, I was like, you know what, Omaha is such a growing and thriving city. And because I worked backstage at concerts, I knew there was still an audience of people who weren't aware of what events were happening here, who the talent was here. So 2015, me and my cousin decided to collaborate and start an online newsletter called The Latest Print. And it literally was just going to be like 1 or 2 interviews with calendars of what's happening in the city. Well, that didn't work. And then a year after that, I moved to LA. So fast forward last year, well, kind of a little bit before last year, the concept came to my mind again when I decided to move back home. And I was like, yo, 2015, we did that and nobody has tried to like mimic it, steal it, come up with their own version of it. And then that's when I was like, man, God is wild. Cause he's like, I give you a vision for something. If it don't work now, then it's set for later, right? So fast forward to last year, Mob Ties came about, and it's a little more robust than what I originally planned. So I just want folks in Omaha to know, like producers, engineers, creators, musicians, and know that they don't have to leave their city to be popular or to get the notoriety and attention that they're looking for. So it started out, first issue was Drayon, which was absolutely amazing. And then after that, we highlighted this artist by the name of Shoddy Man. He lives in Atlanta right now, but like he's taken off, doing really, really good. Skyrie, who's a multidisciplinary artist. He lives in St. Louis right now. And then because it was the first year, I was like, I'm a perfectionist. So sometimes I can be hard on myself. And I'm like, this has to look this way all the way through. And I'm like, finally, for the first time, I was like, no, this is my first time doing it. This is my first year doing it. Pivot and move however you see fit. So the beautiful thing is we secured a partnership with the Omaha Star. Yes. Okay. So the full edition of Knob Ties isn't featured in the Omaha Star. It's just kind of like a snippet and teaser. But the whole point of that collaboration was to bridge the gap between audiences, right? Because there's older generations, they still want to know what's going on with the young folks. Like they're hip to the music and stuff like that. So me and Miss Terry, God bless her, we thought it was an amazing fit. So Knob Ties is coming up on its 1 year in February, aka a couple of days. Thank you. Oh my God. Yes. So we got a lot of stuff coming this year, like performances, collaborations with Streets A&R podcast that I do. And yeah, I'm just ready to take this full storm because I don't want it to just be local. Like eventually I want it to be regional, you know, and national. And I want it to be the go-to source for folks in entertainment to see what's coming out of Omaha.
Girl, tell me why my dog is not gonna act right. I done put him. It's okay. He acts like the world's biggest baby, and if he were in here, he'd be talking while you're talking. Really? He'd be like, that's what it could be. He is a mix between like a lab, you know, pit bull kind of. His dad is Irish Sheltie Cocker Spaniel, so he's like for real mutt. But he looks more like a lab.
Oh, okay.
But I have a gift for you.
Yeah.
Because I have a gift for all the panelists, but you know, life happens.
It does.
And I wasn't able to get this to you, but I have this for you.
Yes. Thank you.
And I stopped by Dusk Goods and Gifts. I have this for you as well.
I'm going to take it out now. Just wait.
Go ahead. Unveil.
I love it. Oh, listen, I see the ties, so that tells me it's a, you know, I love a good jacket. Oh, beautiful.
Don't you love it?
Oh, thank you so much.
Don't you love?
Come on, Windbreaker. I'm going to LA in a couple of weeks, so that's what.
Oh, we're about to go there. We're about to go there. So you, when you were talking to me about how Knob Ties came about, that went from 2015. Oh, I just moved to LA and all this other stuff. But there's a story behind it. Oh, you and I talked on the phone for a long time.
And he kept hitting us off and I was so mad.
And I'm like, oh no, we gonna finish. So take me back to what prompted you to leave Omaha to go to LA, and then just kind of talk to me about all the stuff, because I know there's some fire there, literally. And just talk to me more about where you were mentally before you left, what you went through while you were there, and what brought you back home.
Yes. Cut me off at any time because I'll just be waterfall at the mouth.
I'm not going to cut you off.
Just kind of taking it back a little bit. My parents, amazing individuals. My mom's my best friend. My dad was my best friend. God rest his soul. But growing up, music was the thing in our household. My mom did not sing, neither did my dad. Neither one of them played instruments, right? But they had an ear for music, and they had vinyls and CDs all over the place. I have a memory like an elephant, and I just remember as a kid being struck by chords in music. Like, so much so, you don't remember those commercials of like the R&B jams that would come on late at night?
Yes.
Yep. And I remember being a kid, and I would always wake up to Shaka Khan's Tell Me Something Good.
Oh, yes.
I hated that song. It was something about the chords that made me sad. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's connected to something that my mom
I was about to get excited. You up here talking about, I don't like that song. Do you like Whitney Houston?
I do like Whitney Houston. I like Shaka Khan. I just don't like that song.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Kleenex just in case.
Thank you. It was something about music and the chords that just like pulled me in. And then as I got older, I'm getting allowances, and you know, most kids buy toys with their allowances. No, take me to go get a CD. And this is when CDs were in Walgreens at the checkout. Sam Goody. If you couldn't afford the full album, you could get the singles disc with like the remix and stuff like the bonus tracks.
I had Brandy's, and what was that?
Yes.
What was that?
Soul for Real? Was it Soul for Real?
Is that what they call?
Candy Rain?
Candy Rain.
Okay, yeah, I think it's so
I
for
remember because my daddy, that was that man, we struggled over that.
Yeah.
Because my daddy's a pastor.
Oh.
And he wouldn't let me listen to secular music. And I had that CD. I had to get the bonus ones.
Okay.
But I couldn't get the full one. But
Yep.
yes, I remember that.
So I would like buy those, collect those, right? And it didn't matter what genre or like what time frame it was. Like so much so my uncles on my mom's side would be like, girl, like, how do you know how to sing this whole New Edition album? And like, you're not even 10, like, we're, you know, crazy. But I would get the CDs, I would sit on the floor and I was obsessed with reading the insides of who the executive producer was, who the songwriter was. Now, again, like I'm a kid, I can't connect the two, but it's just like, oh, like this is interesting. So fast forward a little bit, I actually think this was like 1998 when TLC was on stage at MTV Awards and they were talking about how they weren't getting paid.
Oh, I remember that.
I'll never forget.
Controversial.
Yes. And I just remember watching it and I was like, oh, like they seem angry and upset. Like, you know, what's going on? What do they mean they're not getting paid? Something in my head was like, wait, what? I got to dive deeper into this. Of course, more allowances, more CDs. I remember one time I had $20. I was at Shopko with my grandparents. And my grandma's like, okay, you got your allowance, you know, buy some. I said, yeah, I'm gonna go to the CD section. And I get Ludacris Southern Hospitality. Yeah, I got the spanking of the world with that CD.
How did you make it out the store, girl?
Well, grandma didn't know. Grandpa didn't know. But it was when I was playing it at home and my mom's here, let me lick you. Yeah, and it was just like, girl, give me that CD. Yeah. So that was that. As time progressed, when I got into high school, end of 8th grade year, high school, I was a part of this youth organization called Yield at the time. And I was there for about a year, but the founder of it, he decided he wanted to shift and he wanted to start an entertainment company in Omaha. So I was like, oh man, like you're about to like diminish the club, you know? And he's like, no. Like it's not going to be a youth organization per se, but I want to use y'all as a street team.
Oh.
What's a street team?
Right.
What's that? Oh, I want y'all to put up posters and I want y'all to like sell tickets to shows. Now you're talking about 14 years old and I'm already obsessed with music, right? So all the other kids in the youth organization, they're just like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. But me, I'm like, oh, y'all have no idea. Like, please let me be your apprentice. Like, let me shadow you, let me follow you. And I was talking about this the other day. The fact that my parents even allowed me to be that much involved in that as I was, I'm like, God bless y'all. Because if my daughter turns 14 and tells me she wanted, I'm be like, if I'm not there, then no, you're not doing it.
Say straight.
Yeah, we're not doing it. So age 14, the first show I assisted with was he brought Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay. I had excitement around it, but you know, like Earth, Wind, and Fire, all right, whatever. So we handed out posters, we did the things. I sold tickets to my aunts and uncles. Like, you know, I'm like, this is nice. I feel special. Well, then the next show he did was Chris Brown. Oh, when Chris Brown first hit the scene, when he came out with Run It, when he was a little one. And that one, he had us like all hands on. So when I tell you, I was backstage watching Chris Brown get ready and throwing up because he was so nervous that this was his first tour. His mom was with him. Like, we went to, who else was on the tour? It was Cherish, if you remember Cherish. Franchise Boys, they were on the tour also. We went with them to go look for outfits and all this stuff. So the day of the show happens and we're front row. So mind you, this is like my third concert. First concert being B2K when I was in sixth grade. But like now I'm like front row, high school, not to mention all my friends are at the concert, right? Well, then that same night, they had like a walk it out contest on stage, and the franchise boys end up pulling me up on stage. Okay. So I'm doing this walk it out contest in front of all of Civic Auditorium when it was open at the time. That was the start of my high. The industry behind the scenes high, right? In addition to the music. Between age 14 and 21, I did over 40 shows that I helped with. So you talking about Chris Brown, Mary J. Blige, Justin Timberlake, Tyga, The Game, Carl Thomas, Keith Sweat, on and on and on. And I'm working backstage. I'm delivering liquor back and forth to venues at 15.
Oh my God.
Crazy. It's women outside backstage in a line, like trying to get through. And I'm like, yay, nay, yay, nay. Like when I think back to it, it's wild. So I did that, went to college, and my senior year, I had to come up with like a fictitious business. So I came up with a business called CL Branding Agency, stand for my initials. And I was like, I'm going to do branding and marketing for like musicians. This is just the whole thing. And then I was like, maybe I should like actually try this. This will be fun.
What if this works?
Right. What if this works? And college, right after I graduated, I got offered 2 jobs, one with Union Pacific and LinkedIn. And I said, you know what? Let's go LinkedIn, which was shocking to my family because everybody knows Union Pacific is like that place you want to work, at least at the time. So I was like, no, let's go LinkedIn because this is a high power tech company coming in. It's new, right? It's coming out of Silicon Valley and the first remote office in Nebraska. So like, let's go ahead and jump on it. And the moment that happens, now I know how to use the system. So now I know how to get a hold of publicists, managers. What do you guys need? Do you guys need an intern? And I did that back and forth. 2015, it's crazy. I'm even talking about this now because the timing is so perfect. 2015, February, J. Cole comes to Lincoln. And I wanted to go so bad. He had just dropped 2014 Forest Hills Drive and completely sold out. And I happened to get on Facebook at my desk at LinkedIn. And this girl I know is like, can't make it to Lincoln tonight. I got 2 tickets to see Cole, first come, first serve, whoever inboxed me. Girl, now I'll leave work to come get them from you. Like
Facebook.
It is. I'm like, I will leave work. So she's like, no, I got you. So she sends me the tickets. Me and my cousin rush down there. And this is the entertainment newsletter that kind of was during that time. And I'm like, girl, we got to plug ourselves. We got to plug ourselves. And she's just like, Ciara, you always, I'm like, nah, like, this is the time. Like, we got to get down there. We got to meet Cole and his team. Like, so we get there. Show's already started. We get halfway into the venue door. And she's like, oh, did you get the business cards? I'm like, no, but let me run back to the car. She's like, Ciara, we're already going to be all the way in the back if we wait. I said, no, it's fine. Like, we're going to be good. Go get our business cards. Go in the venue. And it was like a little theater or whatever. We're all the way to the back. And she's just like, dang, like we should have came. I was like, girl, forget all of that.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to make it to the front. So we end up making it to the front. Okay. We leave the show, find out they have an after party. Show up to the after party. No one is there. And no one is there because a majority of the attendees were college students. So they weren't 21 and over, right? So we're in this space. The DJ that's like doing the party happens to be my old professor from UNL, right? So he's just like letting us chill out. So we're chilling out about 15 minutes. We look at each other and we're like, man, nobody's here. Nobody's coming. He's like, all right, we'll just dip out. Soon as we head to the door, we see this entourage of guys with Dreamville jackets on. And I'm like, oh no, like that's Cole and his crew, bro. Like
we're not leaving.
We have to wait. So we go back in there, ended up kicking it with them, got to meet the whole team, and it was an amazing night. Exchange information. They wanted to know what we did. And that next week, I had got a call to be a production assistant on a music video shoot in LA, and I had never been there before. Never. And the guy was like, well, the shoot is on Sunday. Can you make it? And I was like, yep.
I'll be there.
Hopped on a flight Saturday morning, worked on Sunday, hopped on a flight, red-eyed Sunday night, and made it back to LinkedIn to work on Monday.
Whoa. So wait. Met J. Cole.
Yes.
From a Facebook ad or somebody posted something on there. And your introduction to LA came from this job opportunity to be on a video shoot. It just seems like there's little spurts all throughout the stories that you've told me so far of God just showing you that this is the path.
Yes.
This is the path.
Literally. Because J. Cole happens, I fly out for the music video shoot, which, mind you, was not J. Cole's music video shoot. It was somebody who connected with me from past concerts that I worked under here. So did that. And then it was just a domino effect of just like opportunities coming forth. I'd probably say 2015, I did something in that same capacity, maybe 15 to 20 times. And that was just my own strength of the relationships that I curated. So 2015 was filled with back and forth flights to LA. And I had connected with Drake's dad. Dude, I don't even know.
What?
I don't even know. Dennis Graham. I don't even know how we connected.
Wow.
But he was starting a record label. I think it was called Blue Note Records or something. Because he was a well-known jazz player out of Memphis. And he was just like, well, yeah, if you're down, like, we could talk about it. Like, I'm definitely open to you interning, which nothing came about from it. But it was just that year, it was like jam-packed with just so many opportunities. And after getting my feet wet going for the first time, it just got easier to go back. And then by the end of 2015, I told my parents, I said, I'm moving to LA. And they were like, girl, please, no, you're not. And I was like, nah, like April 16th, 2016, I'm gone. They did not believe me until that night. They went in the garage and seen my car packed with my stuff. And they were like, you're really leaving? And my brother was like, dog, you're like really going? And I was like, yeah, I have to go. I was like, I reached my ceiling here. There's nothing left for me. Nothing left for me to do. Now, during the time before I decided to go, my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer, which I had shared. And I wasn't going to go. I was going to stay, you know, here with him to make sure he was good. But he was just like, no, like, you got a life to live. And he would always say this thing, as long as I got my happy meal, I'm straight. And I left.
Oh, wow. That must have been really like emotionally tugging at you. Like, you know, you have a call
Yeah.
in LA, but then your dad gets diagnosed with cancer. And the only thing you want to do is be close to him. And he's like, no, I'm sending you out.
Yeah. And, you know, like, not to keep going back, but like, as I think even that time period, in addition to my dad getting sick, okay, 2014, let's just say 2014, May hits. I graduate from college. Okay. I'm on this high. 2 weeks after my relationship, my high school relationship, unfortunately, my partner does something irresponsible, which takes him away, right? So he's gone. 2 weeks later, my dad gets the diagnosis. So then I just feel like, oh my God, like I'm thinking college graduation is supposed to spiral upward, right? Into the season of endless opportunities, which it was. But then it was just like real life stuff happening at the same time. So
yeah. And I mean, when you talk about that, that happens in so many people's lives. I can just talk about my experience with my daughter being sick. She was sick while I was getting ready to graduate from college.
Wow.
She was also sick when she collapsed in my bedroom floor just back there down the hall in 2022, right before I was getting ready to get my master's. So beautiful experience of getting ready to get my master's, but tragedy on the other side. It's just like, how do we maintain that resilience, that peace of mind that I'm going to move forward? Because some people might say those are things that will stun you.
Yeah, for sure. And I think part of me at the time was, though I felt like I reached my ceiling professionally, I think there was a part of me that was like, okay, too much has happened here in a short amount of time. Like, I gotta see something else. Yeah. Like, I gotta see some different scenery. Even though I planned on staying, once my dad gave me that approval, I was like, all right, I'm safe. Yeah. And when I tell you, drove 26 hours nonstop except to stop at a gas station, that was the most beautiful journey ever, the first one. Because Lord knows I drove back and forth.
Driving to California from Nebraska?
Yes. Something I will never do again, especially in my 30s. And as a mom,
girl, we've taken that trip.
Really?
We have taken that trip. My husband, we got in this big old van. You know, we got all these kids.
Yeah, I love it.
And we drove that way.
Did you stop?
We had to stop. We had to stop because somebody's going to die.
Right.
Somebody's going to die. So we had to stop. But I know that trip. And he does. Taking it solo, maybe, yeah. But when you have kids, it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, no, it's like I'd never do it again. But during that time, I was on such a high. I just couldn't wait. Because it was the idea of going into unfamiliar territory. Yeah. And seeing what I could do with it.
That's crazy.
I'm
You're
like,
daredevil.
Girl, yeah,
You're like
where that came from.
Walking toward the fire instead of running away from it.
No, seriously.
Speaking of which, girl, let's fast forward into LA. So you're in LA, you're living the life. Yes. And you, this is from my own background knowledge because me and Ciara, we're friends.
Yes.
So you're in LA, you get involved with somebody. And this started off well. Yeah. But then it took a turn. Talk to me about that. And then let's talk, I mean, you told me some things, some prophetic things. Yeah. Kind of hit you out of nowhere. Let's go there.
Well, there's a lot to also tell before we even get to the relationship.
Okay. I'm ready. So, foot tucked under the leg. I am ready.
And this will kind of give you, like a little more idea. But when I got there, I went there with the plan of being homeless. I didn't care. Like,
Skid Row, let's do it.
Right. I'm like, I'll live in my car. Like, I'll sleep on the beach. I don't care. But it just so happened that one of my best friends, still my best friend to this day, he had older brother that lived out there. And his brother was dabbling into like tech and like he had some relationships in Silicon Valley. And he was trying to create a platform for musicians to get them paid more because their contracts were so faulty with the record labels. Now, again, if you think back to what I said with TLC, my mind has already been there, right? How can we support the artists and make them better? So he and I hit it off, we connected, and he's just like, hey, like, you best friends with my brother? Like, you family then. I got a guest house in my beach house. Like, do you want to stay there? Sure. Like, I had plans on sleeping in my car, whatever. So during that time frame, I was working hand in hand with him to create an app for these musicians. And essentially it was called B-Stock, where fans would be allowed to invest in their favorite artists. So essentially the musicians and their work was looked at as a stock market. So we pretty much like changed the whole stock market language and all that and kind of flipped it. And it started growing to the point to where we got angel investors involved. Okay. Like, we're on the phone with Birdman to get Nicki Drake and Wayne to present this to the market. Big deal. So all this stuff is happening. And mind you, like, I'm in it. Yeah. At this point, I'm like, okay, I'm in it. In the midst of like everything else that I'm doing, I'm pulling up to Live Nation. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly how I see things. But then what would you call it? The hidden demons of it all, just kind of like start to reveal themselves because the valuation of the company is high. Now everybody's trying to get their hands on it, and you got folks coming out the woodwork like, oh, well, I had something to do with this, whatever. So anywho, fast forward, I'm thinking this is gonna be a thing. And one of the people that we have on our team, mind you, an industry figure that I looked up to years prior, ends up telling me that the marketing plan that I came up with for this was taken to Universal Music Group and discussed with their attorney. Now, mind you, there's only 8 people on this team. I'm the only woman. I'm not the only Black person, but I'm the only Black woman, okay?
Right, yeah.
But again, I'm naive about some things, whatever, but I'm ready to work. I have like passion and just girth behind this. So when the gentleman revealed it to me, it was shocking, right? But then I'm like, okay, well, in my mind, I'm like, it's great that I had this person that I looked up to growing up, like this industry figure, like feel like it's necessary for him to tell me this, right? And so I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm in my West Hollywood apartment, like, hi, figure out what's going on. This same gentleman that tells me this FaceTimes me a few hours later with his private part in his hand. And basically hits me with a offer, per se. He said verbatim, you are, what was that movie called? Hidden Figures. Remember the lady who did the calculation? Yeah. He would always call me that, and met his wife, met his kids, he never insinuated anything. So it's completely like threw me off. But he's like, yeah, you got Hidden Figures talent. Like, you're super smart. I know you're young. You're from Nebraska. You came here because you're trying to make it. And like, borderline, if you do X, Y, and Z, I'll give you a VP of marketing position
like
at
Satan.
Sony. And when I tell you, while that was happening, like one would be like, girl, why don't you just hang up the phone? But that's like when something like that has never happened to you, like that's shocking, right? Yeah. So I'm like literally shaking. And I say to him, and I know this wasn't nothing but God, because when I think back to it, I'm like, Ciara herself, the flesh, would have been scared to say this. But I was like, why would I take you up on that offer? So the moment I don't do what you tell me to do, you can pull everything from under me like a rug. And he looked at me in, the camera, and he's like, what are you, psychic? And I was just like, wow, okay. So that happens, right? And then after that, everything just starts like getting knocked off. So same group of people that, I'm spending all this time with, building this platform. One of the people on the opposite team, like feeling on my knee under the table at dinner, like all this starts. Now at this point, all this starts. Then it becomes, well, yeah, you're a part of the picture, but like, how about like we remove you and then we pay you almost like an independent contractor, because you're in all these rooms with these musicians and these B-listers and these A-listers. How about you just present them with like an offer, and then we'll give you a 1% bonus for everybody that you.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa. Something you helped build.
Something I helped build. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. When I tell you they tried and tried and tried, like, you're trying to get me to stay when you already had me. But now you're trying to get me to stay because like my eyes are open to what you're doing. I'm not simple in this realm, right? So basically fast forward, the last offer they presented was like this contract. And I know what stuff looks like. I read it myself and knew it was pooey. And I had a friend who was an entertainment attorney, and I gave it to him, and he was like, oh, wow, they're trying to slap you in your face like a million different ways. And I said, yeah, I figured. And once I called them out on it, my home, my income, and that happens, let's say October, November-ish of 2017. So as that's happening, right, I'm like, yeah, I need to go back home to breathe, just relax for a second. Vacation, a couple days. Went back for Thanksgiving. And when I flew back to LA after Thanksgiving, of course, I didn't have no home to go to. Like, all my stuff was in Cali, but thank God for friends. Only to have to turn around and fly back to Omaha a week later because my dad went into immediate vegetable state. So you're talking from like May all the way to October, it's just this like constant crumbling. And December 10th, he passes away. And that was when I was just like completely stuck. I didn't know what to do because my mind was in a place to where it was like, okay, I went out to LA. I went out to LA for my own reason. I didn't necessarily go out to LA to do what I did with that platform. That's just something that had come about, right? Mm-hmm. But I was exposed to so much within that industry. What once glimmered didn't anymore. So it was nothing to look forward to, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I had spent all of December, a little bit of January in Omaha trying to decide if I was going to go back or not. And during this time, like, I became heavily addicted to Adderall, which then I never had any drug problems, right? And then I didn't even think it was nothing, but for me to go to sleep and have dreams of my dad, like, oh, Dad, I had this horrible dream that you passed away, and thank God that you didn't, because now I have to go tell everybody that you're alive, and then you wake up. Yeah. And it's still a reality. It was too much. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. I couldn't deal with it. Was there, stayed till about January, went back, and then this round of going back, met with more floods of just opportunities. And I'm just like, why is all this happening? Like, I'm like, this feels like a resurgence then. I'm like, it felt like a resurgence of 2015, 2016 again, where it was just like, great stuff happening. It's like BS in between it. So 18, once I got back in my home. So that was fine. I'm like, okay, cool. But then I was introduced to some other people within the industry who, wow, then saw talent in me. And I was like, no, I like being behind the scenes. Like, I can see. Yeah, and I was like, I don't know if the work behind the scenes. I'm like, I'm good with that. And a friend of mine, God rest his soul, I met him at someone's house, a celebrity's house that I was at the time. And we didn't even like connect. But then I ended up at a music studio a month later, and the same guy was there. And that's the guy that seen something in me, and we kind of hit it off. And we recorded a song together that first night. And I had never recorded a song. Like, I've seen it, but I'd never done it myself. And he was like, oh yeah, girl, like, you're good. Like, you got something good. So then also that turned into me starting to songwrite and pitching songs to artists through Atlantic Records and working at Paramount Studios and doing the whole thing. And then that's when I met the person who I later got into a relationship with. And thinking of 2018, like, I had so many vulnerabilities. My dad had just passed. Like, the situation with the music app had happened, you know, like months prior. And I think at that time it was just like I needed a breath of fresh air somewhere, right? And I was just trying to fill this void. And mind you, you know, like my boyfriend, my previous boyfriend from high school is still away. Like, so this is, you know, I'm talking to him and he's like my venting source, but I'm limited by call times, you know, like I was only able to see him physically up until the point to where I left to go to LA. So that was difficult too. So end up meeting this guy and great energy. We vibed creatively, which was nice. But the part that pains me most about that time period is even though I was in LA and I wasn't home, when my my previous partner, he ended up getting a date set to come home, which 4 years had already passed and with no dates, you know? And he finally gets a date. And I'm met with this decision that's like, okay, you're in LA. You could just be single, frivolous Ciara, live your life. You could take this uncharted road with this new person, or you could rekindle that flame and then possibly have regrets for rekindling, right? So I didn't know. That was a really tough time. And I just remember being in the car and this train was like passing on the railroad tracks and, you know, the little thing was down so you couldn't cross over. And I was like, I got to make a decision before this thing comes up. I'll never forget. And I chose to pursue this new relationship, which was blissful and nice in the beginning. But it was filled with a lot of, and I understand now when people say, if you get with somebody, don't tell them what you've been through, not even necessarily in your last relationship, but just don't tell them like triggers or like traumas that you've experienced. And for a long time, I looked at it as, like, that's unfortunate. Like, you should be able to, like, you know, be open and be comfortable. But after this experience, like, I quickly learned, like, okay.
Well, some people are not called to hold your trauma.
Yeah.
And if you already are dealing with vulnerabilities and you're not seeing clearly or whatever, then I feel like that's just an opportunity for Satan to get in there through other people. And use that.
Yes. And mind you, like being out in LA, no family. I got friends, but no family. It makes you like realize how people who have ulterior motives like use that to their advantage, because I already know, like if we were together around my family in the same city, none of that would have occurred. That, you know, the relationship probably wouldn't have even existed. But it wasn't until about a year in that he kind of started showing his true colors. But I mean, like, the start of it came correct. Like, everything a girl wants to see in a guy, top notch.
Yeah.
But then it quickly turned to, you know, and even though we both met in the same creative space, it wasn't like he was producing and engineering and then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna bring it. No, it was like we met in the same space doing the same work, right? So then for it to transition into, well, no, I don't want you going in the studio anymore. No, I don't want you writing for this person. Who's hitting you up? But I never had any qualms about who he worked with. And sometimes things are hard to see when you're still healing and processing from other traumas. But yeah, it just...
I'm laughing because my dog is on the other side of what y'all don't realize and sorry, I'm bringing y'all into my life. This is my house. And I have 2 dogs, and they are on the other side of this divider wall. And Draco, if he were inside, he'd be talking to Ciara while she's talking.
He's like, what are y'all doing in there?
But then now he's on the other side of the slider, pawing to get in. He's a big dog. We're not gonna let him in. So if you hear the, just know this is it. Okay.
Yes. Right. Yes. No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, and things over time kind of just started to get worse. You know, it started as like verbal digs. And then I was like, okay. Then it turned like mental. And it turned mental because then it was always verbal, right?
Yeah. That's
And
how
then
starts.
it would come back like sweet nothings, but no apologies for, you know, what previously happened. And when I say the love bombing was on 1,000, it was there. And fast forward, you know, that's kind of how me and my current partner, my high school sweetheart, we reconnected because one, my mom was here without my dad, right? I didn't want to call my mom and just be like, oh my God, like this fool, you know, is nuts. Like this is what's happening to me. So I called the next possible source, which again, I hadn't even talked to him in like a couple of years. And that's kind of how we reconnected and we rekindled. And then fast forward 2022, which I shared that with you. Earlier that year, I got COVID so bad. Like, I don't know what was on my immune system. Like, I had the vaccines and everything. I got COVID 3 good times.
Oh, no.
And they were horrible. It was bad every time. But this time was so bad. In my studio apartment, downtown LA, I could not even walk to my kitchen. And I'm saying studio apartment. So you like 600 square feet, maybe. Wasn't much of a distance. I felt like I was about to die. And I had my Bible with me every second. And I was just like, you know what, Lord, like, if this is it, like, I think I'm prepared for it. But if I'm not, I'm going to use this time. Lord. I'm going to use this time to, like, make sure I'm straight. And I remember telling him that. Like, it was just this, it was this force that was on me that was just like, prepare. So much so to the point I'm like, is this me? About me? Or is this about somebody else? Because I've always had the gift of prophecy. I've always could tell when something is on the horizon. And usually I can tell whether it's me or somebody else. But this time I wasn't sure. And I communicated that to him like, hey, like, I know you know who God is. I know you believe in God, but whatever's going on, like, you need to talk to him because, I don't know, something's in the water. And during this time, he was actually working with a lot of people, but people who were definitely vocal about ritualistic practices for, say, certain gangs, right? But again, that's like another thing that comes with living in LA and like trying to make it, right? Like when you're in it, you don't think you're compromising morals, right? Or like they say, selling your soul to stuff. But when you're so focused on a goal and you have tunnel vision and you're finally in the same room with the people that you once watched on TV, for some people, it's hard to like understand, like, these are people. They're people just like you.
Yep, they have spirits.
They have spirits.
Soul.
They have energies. You know, a character that they play is not who they are. So we kind of had like went back and forth with that for a few months. And I remember this one night, maybe 2 months prior to his passing, we went and got something to eat. And I was so tired this day for whatever reason. And he went inside to get the food, but I guess I was in the car asleep. And I wake up to him like shaking me, like, girl, get up. What is wrong with you? And I'm like, yo, like, why are you shaking me like that? He was like, because what are you saying? And I was like, what do you mean? What am I saying? And he was like, you're sitting there and you're asleep talking about, I have to protect my people. Like, Lord, like, he was like, you was straight up praying in your sleep. Like, what is all that about? And I was like, I don't know. Like, for me, I'm like, what did I say? Like, please, like, reveal it to me. But then after that occurrence, he ended up revealing to me that he started having dreams of demons. He was having dreams of being chased by entities in a warehouse, but looking for me. But when he's telling me this dream, he tells me, oh, I'm running from them. I couldn't find you, so they must have got a hold of you and killed you or something. So you better be careful, because you're talking about you don't know what's on the horizon and what's to come. Like, it's probably you. And I'm like,
whoa, where's the covering? Where's the prayer here?
no, seriously, like, wow, like the nerve, like just didn't care. And I was like, okay, whatever. Don't know why I continue to entertain that. But then I want to say maybe, a week prior to his passing, really bad argument, probably like one of the worst altercations. And that was the moment where I was just like, I can't do it. Like, the fact that my jaw is like twisted and I can't even bite down on food, like, I've never even been in this space before. I didn't even grow up seeing this. So, like, what is this? And I remember just having a talk with one of my friends in the car about God, and he thanked me for always continuing to have that conversation about God, even though he wasn't a believer. That same night, I had a dream that I was contacted by someone within our friend circle that something had happened to the guy I was dating. And I was like, oh, in true Ciara form, this is another prophecy or like premonition, just something coming about. So I know what to be aware of the next day. And the next day comes and that same guy calls me. But this time this situation is much more traumatic. And there was a fire in the music studio. There was a gentleman apparently practicing some satanic ritual in one of the spaces, left a Bunsen burner going.
Girl.
And ended up leaving it on. So mind you, in California, their fire ordinances, if a building was built before 1920, it does not have to follow fire safety regulations. So no smoke alarms, no smoke detectors, no fire extinguishers didn't have to exist. And that's what happened in this situation. So the fire was going on in that one room, contained in that one room for a whole hour before it collapsed the rest of the wall. So once it collapsed all the walls, you're talking about black smoke consuming everybody. But 20 people got out except for him and a cat.
Wow.
And he was burned to no recognition. The only thing that was left was a rim of his glasses, a tear of his sweatpants, and his whole wallet was intact, not burned.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Pause for that.
Yeah.
Because that is a lot. All the different signs that you were given beforehand, and then for it to manifest in that way. And then even though you're in a relationship with somebody that is harming you, it's still a loss.
Yeah.
You lost your father, you lost your partner, the relationship that you had in California. What was Ciara? How was Ciara's heart?
Well, it was weird because even before losing him, I had lost like 2-3 other friends in California. And it was something that I never expected, like death in that order, so close. It became disturbing because it was just like, what exists here to where this is like a daily thing, right? And you're talking whether like drug overdose, like mental illness, whatever is so prevalent out there. You almost become desensitized to it until you wake up and you're like, no, something about this is wrong. But I was very numb. I just remember, and I play this back all the time. After getting that call from our friend, I went to West Hollywood because that's where the studio was. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with those, like, I think they have them in larger cities, but it's an app called like Citizen. It's almost like a neighborhood watch, but it's like a real time streaming live of whatever happened, and people can kind of like comment as it's going on. So I'm like on there and I'm like looking in the West Hollywood area, and all these people are like, yeah, I think somebody's dead. I think somebody's dead. So I'm just like, yo, this is too much. So I finally get to the scene and firefighters are there. They're putting the fire out. Mind you, this building is a cement building. So you don't see the damage. You don't see anything on the outside. All you just see is these firefighters up top, right? Trying to put out this fire and like smoke. So I'm asking like, hey, did y'all hear from? No, everybody's outside. I'm seeing all his like other studio, mates or other people in other rooms. And I'm like, have you heard from him? I seen him earlier today. And his car is outside.
Yeah.
Parked on the curb. So I'm looking at it, right? I probably got there about 6 p.m. Finally caught an Uber back to my house at 1 a.m. That's how long I was out there trying to like figure out. Now, mind you, none of our family lived there.
Yeah.
He was from the East Coast. Oh. So not only am I in it, but I got to communicate with them as to what's happening. So then I go home, and I remember taking the Uber back home, and I was just like, there ain't no way. Like, there ain't no way. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. And when I got in, I asked the guy at the security desk, I was like, hey, did a guy come here looking for me? Because, in my head, I'm just like, he was so engulfed in music.
Yeah.
I know his mind was like, oh my God, like another situation where my equipment has been messed up, and then he probably dropped his phone, he's trying to find. And 5 a.m. the next morning, his mom called. And they identified him. And it was so sad because they didn't even have to cremate him.
That's gonna have to stay there. Girl. So literal fire. That you have had to walk through.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are dealing with so much death, so much loss, so much pain, so much struggle. Talk to me about the decision for you to leave LA and come back home.
Ooh, well, during this time frame of just like confusion, kind of leading up to his death and thereafter, and I mentioned this to you too, I had encountered this fabulous gentleman by the name of Samuel. Okay. And he prophesied over me, and he kept telling me like, God is calling you home. Like the story of the young lady meeting God or meeting Jesus at the well.
Yeah.
Right? And he was like, I see that on you. So I'm like, oh, really? Mind you, at the time, I wasn't thinking about going home.
Yeah.
I was thinking more so, okay, yeah, let me just like strengthen my relationship with God again. But you know those moments like where God brings you something and you like, but I was already doing that. So like, what do you mean? That's kind of like the space that I was in. Like, I've been talking to him, like I've been in my Bible, like I've been like practicing acts, right? To operate through his heart. Like, what do you mean? And that was his word to me leading up to like the passing. And then after his passing happened, it didn't cause me to want to come back home. There were other small things that occurred after he died where I was just like, it felt like God like gave me a nasty taste in my mouth overnight.
Wow.
And when I kept thinking about the words Samuel had for me, like he introduced me to his mom who was like in ministry and all this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this means I gotta go. Like my time here is served and it's done. And it was, I'll never forget, July of 2022. I was at my desk and I was like I was thinking through this. And I said, this whole time, I'm thinking I'm coming out here to like pursue, you know, what I'm trying to do in the entertainment industry and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, no, God had me on assignment for more things than one. However, he gives us all the gift of choice.
Yep.
You choose what you want to do. And I chose what I wanted to do. He revealed a multitude of things to me and still gave me a choice of whether I wanted to operate in it or not. And I chose not to operate in it. And when I sat on that, I said, oh, it's time to go. The assignment's over. Because the way God got me up out of there, July, my apartment my lease had just started in April. So I just got there. I called the leasing office. I said, how much is it to break my lease? I looked up apartments in Omaha and applied for an apartment that wasn't even built yet. I didn't care. I was like, let's go. Called my cousin. Hey, I'll buy you a plane ticket to come out here and like help me pack up and like drive back to Omaha. It was like, when I sat on that thought of what do you want me to do or what was all this for? It was done.
Wow. You know what I hear when you say that? The word spontaneous comes to mind. I mean, when you came in here today, you were like, oh, I'm in the middle of moving, blah, 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 blah. You know, I feel like you just have the spontaneity about you. Like when you feel it, you just go.
I go.
You don't second guess, you don't question it, you just go with it. And it seems like that has followed you in all these different places, and all these different spaces. And you might say to yourself, wow, I didn't even need to go to LA, but you needed to go there because God needed to show you something about the industry that you love so much and you wanted to be in, how to show forth who he has called you to be in this space and protect it. You know what I mean? And have integrity about it.
For sure.
Because a lot of people see people on TV, they see artists, they see the artist and they see the glitz and the glam and they think, I want that. Like I used to be like that. I wanted to be Whitney Houston, Toni Braxton, Mariah Carey, all of them. Until I started to see like the stories that would come out about them, how unhappy they were, the tragedy that happened to Whitney Houston, all the different things, the substance abuse, all these different things. Fame doesn't make you happy.
No.
If people think if I'm famous, then I'll be accepted, then I'll be liked, then I'll be loved. But fame doesn't bring you happiness.
No, it's like the ultimate deteriorator. Like I would sit in label rooms, Rachel, and these kids would come in like 17, 18, 19, right? Because like some of these labels, what they would do is, you would have your mainstream artists that the whole world sees, right? And they know you're signed to that label. But then that label will also have a pot of up and coming artists with subcontracts where they'd say, because they got rid of artist development, then they'd say, oh, this kid is probably not talented, but they've got 250,000 followers on social media. So that means they can market themselves and we won't have to utilize our budget. So then they would have their A&Rs. Okay, yeah, put them with a good songwriter. Girl, that's a whole other thing. But put them with a good songwriter. We can tailor them to be what we want them to be. I've seen these kids come in the office, perform in front of these executives, and these executives are like, I'm just making up a name, but yes, little Tori, you are so incredible. You're so amazing. Your music is dope. Soon as little Tori, you're signed. Soon as little Tori walks out the room, yeah, he's nothing. He's another piece of trash from the hood. We'll give him a $320,000 advance. He'll burn through it in a year because he'll be giving it out to his homies and buying stuff he can't afford. And then they'll have to recoup us for the rest of their life.
Wow. That sounds like slavery to me.
Yeah.
And that's a trick of the enemy. So tell me, fast forward to today, how you're back home, you're grounded, you're settled, you're doing things for moms. Tell me about all these different things and how, you know, it was as if you never left, but you're more refined. You got a story to tell and you want to pour back into mamas. Tell me more about this stuff.
Yes. So when I came back, I felt like I could breathe, right? You know, like growing up in Omaha, or just any small town, you're just like, there's nothing to do here. But, you know, Omaha has grown a lot and I've seen a lot of changes as I would kind of travel back and forth. Like I mentioned before, I had become desensitized to so much stuff out there that it wouldn't be until I came back home, I'd be like, oh, that is not normal. You know what I mean? Because let that happen on the street here in Omaha, OPD is right there with a whole news story on KETV.
Yes.
So when I came back, I was just like, you know what? You don't have to leave your city to be who you wanted to be. Also because I knew music tech. I knew where the trends were headed. I knew what was about to happen with the market. So I was just like, let me just curate something here because I was so enmeshed in not just like entertainment on the Hollywood side, but on the grassroots side of LA. Yeah. Like, you know, going to events at Lamert Park, Baldwin Hills, Crenshaw, right? Like seeing how community driven they were on the other side of those hills. And I was just like, I'm participating in that, but LA is not my home. That's not where I'm from. Like, entertainment, that's the thing there. It exists, right? Yeah. There ain't nothing nobody else can do to rev it up anymore unless something like, I don't know, miraculous happens. But I was just like, why not take that same skill set, not just from LA, but what I already absorbed from working concerts and do it at this older age with purity, with intention, with mindfulness, and backed by the Spirit of God. That's the biggest thing. So since I've been back, I started a creative agency with my brother. We work hand in hand, Nobble. And then, of course, Knob Ties. But then I was blessed with my beautiful baby girl.
Oh, what's her name?
Avani Stone. Stone is her middle name. Yes. So she is 19 months now. And it's just like, I can't believe it. But even with having her, you know, I'm like, Lord, you be trying to keep me humble. So
won't nothing humble you more than having kids.
Like,
hello.
But yeah, you know, my family was super excited because I think I was that family member on both sides. Everybody was just like, Ciara ain't gonna never have kids. Like, she's gonna be like the rich auntie that just like moves around and like comes back when she feels like it. But no, was blessed with a beautiful baby girl. On top of thinking that I could never have kids. That's one thing. But after I had her, baby blues, postpartum anxiety, depression hit me like no other. So mind you, like granted, yeah, I'm in a relationship with someone that our families know each other like over 20 years. But again, we had so much time apart. Sometimes you reconnect with people and you think like, oh, we just like putting the puzzle piece back together how it was before. But when life hits both of you, it creates different grooves within that puzzle piece. And then you got to figure out, right, how you make it fit or just how to relearn each other as adults. So relearning each other and then being a mom, right? And trying to navigate through, okay, what is going on with my hormones? What are these emotions? What am I feeling? Oh, shoot, women go through this all the time. Like,
Yeah.
where's
Welcome.
the resources?
Welcome to the club, girl.
Golly. And it was like literally driving me crazy. And, you know, then doing the research and then you intertwine postpartum, just having the baby, high hormones, and me being somebody who has PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's a hormonal fluctuation, right? And then after your 6-week checkup, you're like, I'm not trying to get pregnant right away again. So then that's birth control.
Thing.
So many imbalances going on internally. And I just hit a point where I was like, man, bump that. It ain't no resources. I mean, there might be some, but where's the fellowship?
Yes.
Where's the other moms who are going through this and experiencing this? How can we come together?
Yeah.
Like, how can we just talk? Because a conversation could turn into you introducing one mom to a therapist or you having something that this other person needs.
Yeah.
And that led me to the idea of wanting to do this mommy wellness brunch.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Tell me the date. Tell me the deets. All of it.
Ooh, well, it's so funny because this is God's work. Like, not that anything else I do isn't God's work, but like this is divine.
Yeah.
And originally I was like, April 2026, like, let's get it. But then it was just like, it kept getting bigger. It kept getting bigger. And it went from like 20 women brunch idea to like 200 weekend, 2 days. So let's make it happen. So I don't have a date yet. It's probably going to be a 2027 dream.
Okay. And it's okay. Let me tell you something. When we have our minds set on a specific date, a specific time, a specific venue, where is the room for God to say, no, go bigger?
Yep.
No, meet with these people. No, I got another sponsor. And when we encapsulate it into, it's got to happen in 2026. Brings so much unnecessary pressure.
Exactly.
If it's got to be in 2027, let it be. You know what I mean? For the excellence that God wants to do through you, why are we rushing it to try to be in this space?
Yep.
And this is for anybody that might be listening to this that thinks, oh, I got to hurry up and do this. Got to get my website. Got to do this. Got to do that. Got to have all this. I was even talking to you about this before we even started. I thought, oh my gosh, I have to have a studio. I have to have this. I have to have the lighting right. I have to have all these stuff right. But I'm here in my house with my dogs on the other side of this divider, having this barefoot conversation with you because I know that there's somebody that's going to hear this that is going through something that you have gone through already. You've walked through the fire and they need to hear it. And so letting go of perfection and letting go of our expectation and really surrendering the outcome is really where we come alive.
Yes.
And we allow God to do what only he can.
You're right. You're right. And that's the biggest piece of this too is my brain constantly says, that could have been you. You know, a place that I spent a lot of time. I've fallen asleep. You know, I've been comfortable. I've been relaxed. That could have been you. And I try to release that out of my mind because it's like, I'm still here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still working. But it is very heartbreaking to have known and sat with someone who constantly talked about their dreams, right? And believed that they were going to come into fruition. You believed it was too, based on what they were doing. And then it all gets taken away. And it's just like, okay, I know death is real, but like, you know, for my dad, it was a slow progression. Yeah. I went through a pre-grieving stage prior to my actual grieving, post-grieving, right? I'd never dealt with immediate death before. I'd never endured that. So to be on this other side, pushing through, I'm so very grateful, but also just being patient with God and like, all right, like you gave me a vision. I'm gonna sit it to the side. I'm not gonna be perfectionist here. That's like you said, I need a website.
And that's a trick.
Yeah,
Trick.
it is.
You know, we get so attached to the how
Mm-hmm.
that we forget about He's given us a call.
Yeah.
He asked us to worry about the how, right? And so what I'd like to do before we wrap up is, I remember I told you, think about the woman who may come across this on YouTube, on TikTok, wherever. What would you say to her? She's either walking through a fire, she's in a fire, she's on the other side of it, she doesn't know, she's foggy. Talk to her. What words would you have for her?
When you're in it, pinch yourself to know that it's real. Because sometimes in life, things you just have to feel. And I think a lot of times, a lot of us suppress what we're going through, and they end up becoming suppressed traumas that later turn into, I don't know, mental illnesses, rage, like things of that sort. But life is real, but also give yourself grace and know that God always has you.
Yeah.
There is no other human being on this earth that is constructed a different way than you outside of mind and physical features, right?
Yeah.
We're all enduring something, and we're all going through something, which then it helps to give other people grace too. But just keep God at the forefront of your heart. And somebody said that to me years ago, and I was just like, yes, you're right. But like, what does that look like? But it's really just as simple as that. Like keeping him here. The same way that you would think of what would my parent feel about me if they knew I was doing this. It's the same thing with God. Treat him like he is your father for real. And he will get you through, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Oh, it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay.
Yes.
And come out on the other side, not even smelling like smoke.
No, for real. For real.
So thank you for coming and visiting me. And you're gonna have to say hi to my dogs because they want to meet you. Well, thank you for being with me. This was so good. This was such a great conversation. Thank you for going barefoot.
Yes. You know, I didn't get my toes done, but I can put some white socks.
Any way you want to do it, it's fine. Thank you so much. I love you. And I'm excited to see what God is going to continue to do through you.